Hello and welcome to this edition of Claravine Quick Vines, where we take a round trip with CM360 and Meta, two of our bidirectional media platform integrations. I'm Aaron, and in today's session, I will be starting out with an overview of what a round trip integration is and why they're important for your data standards, and then we'll jump into overviews and demos of our CM360 and Meta Ads Manager integrations. We'll close out by talking through a couple bullets on how to get started with these integrations in your own data standards account. So what is a round trip or bidirectional integration? It starts with data delivering into the data standards cloud through an inbound integration from the media platform. Data types include campaign, placement or ad group, ad, and creative data. This data is brought into data sets in the data standards cloud, where errors can be corrected as data is compared against your data standards, and data can also be enhanced with additional data elements from your data set. Once data is updated, the naming conventions for each of the data types are delivered back to the media platform automatically. Why is this important for data standards? The Data Standards Cloud is the source of truth for your data standards. Round-trip automated flow of data between the Data Standards Cloud and your media platforms ensures all relevant data is evaluated against data standards, and when errors are corrected or naming conventions are enhanced, in the Data Standards Cloud, you're assured those updates will automatically propagate to your media platforms. This leads to fewer manual steps to support teams and platforms who rely on the correctness of data in the media platforms, consistency across the levels of media platform data, and consistency across media channels where you run your campaigns. So how are round-trip integrations used? Managing naming conventions is a popular use case that leverages round-trip media platform integrations with the Data Standards Cloud. Naming conventions for campaigns, ad groups or placements, ads, or creatives are brought into the Data Standards Cloud through the inbound media platform integration. Then they can be validated and corrected for errors or enhanced with additional data before automatically being delivered back to the media platform through the outbound integration. Let's get fancy by looking at a specific example using our split and extract feature. In this example, an inbound integration is delivering a campaign name from CM360 into a template in the Data Standards Cloud. Split and extract breaks this original campaign name down into its respective fields, and then in the other columns in the template, those fields are evaluated against data standards and errors are called out. Once errors are corrected, they are then concatenated into a new campaign name, which is delivered back to the media platform to update the existing campaign. Let's get even fancier with an example where we append an additional attribute to the end of a campaign name. In this scenario, we also get the campaign name from the inbound integration with the media platform. Then in the template, we use concatenate to add the additional season attribute to the end of the original campaign name, and then we map the new campaign name back to Meta through the outbound integration. Next, we'll go into more detail on our media platform integrations along with some demos. Our round-trip CM360 integration leverages Google's APIs to bring in a range of campaign, placement, ad, and creative data. This data can be leveraged in a data set in the Data Standards Cloud. Errors can be corrected and the data can be enhanced. And then naming conventions for each of the different data types can be delivered back to CM360 through the outbound integration. Now let's jump into the Data Standards Cloud platform to see a live demo with CM360. First, we'll take a look at the template configuration to be used in this demo. You'll notice a couple fields that are set up in this template. First, there's this old campaign name, which is meant to pull in the original campaign name from the inbound CM360 integration. There are also a few other fields that help make up the campaign name. And then we also have a new campaign name, which will be the modified campaign name we use with the outbound integration back to CM360. Now let's look at how we have the inbound and outbound integrations configured. For the inbound integration, we go through the configuration, we select an account. As the data type, we select campaign, we select our advertiser account within CM360. And then in this case, we are mapping a campaign ID from CM360 to the campaign ID field in the data standards cloud template. We also have the campaign name from CM360 mapped it to the old campaign name field in the data standards cloud template. For the outbound integration, the configuration is similar. We have our same account selected. We have campaign selected as the data type. And in this case, the new campaign name is mapped to the CM360 campaign name so that when updates are made, we're sending the new campaign name back to the media platform. So next, we'll go into our pending submissions, and we'll also take a quick look at our CM360 account. So in this scenario, we have this CA medium roast 24 campaign that has been set up, and we know that the naming convention for this campaign is incorrect. So we'll go find this one in the pending submission. That's the second row, and we'll make edits. And so when we look at this view, we see a number of different fields indicating where our naming convention is either missing something or has an incorrect value. So we'll go through and make those corrections. Then we'll notice in this new campaign name field that we have the corrected campaign name format. Now, when we click submit, the outbound integration automatically delivers this new campaign name back to CM360. So once that is completed, if we go back to our CM360 account and we refresh the screen, we'll notice our campaign name has been updated to follow the correct naming convention. Pretty cool, right? All right, now let's go back to our presentation. So next, similar to CM360, let's do a quick overview of Meta Ads Manager, and then we'll also see a demo. So the Meta integration utilizes Meta's APIs in a similar way to CM360 to pull in various data elements for campaigns, ad sets, ads, and ad creatives. Those can be used in the data standards cloud to correct errors and make enhancements. And then as naming conventions are updated for each of the different data types, they are sent back through the outbound integration to Meta. Let's go ahead and see this one in action as well. So for this one, we'll start again by looking at the template configuration. Very similar to CM360, we have this campaign name, which represents the original campaign name being pulled into the data standards cloud through the Meta inbound integration. We also have a new campaign name that we'll use to map to the outbound integration so that when we make a modification to the campaign name, we're sending the new naming convention out. In this example, we are going to take the original campaign name, we'll make corrections to it, and we'll also add this additional season field to the end of the campaign name. Let's quickly look at how the integration is set up. For inbound, this configuration is very similar to the CM360 inbound setup. We have the account selected. We have campaigns as the data type. We have a couple integration filters to denote the account, the ads account within the Meta account that we'd like to pull data from. And then we also have this field mapping step where we're mapping the Meta campaign name to the original campaign name in our template. If we look at the outbound configuration, we're again selecting the Meta account. We have campaign as the data type. And then in this case, for the field mapping, we're using the new campaign name in the data standards cloud to map to the Meta campaign name. So we'll quickly take a look at our Meta Ads Manager account. We have a campaign called Medium Roast Targeting 24. And the format's incorrect, but we'd also like to add that spring, the season parameter to the end of this campaign name. So if we go down to row 22 here in our pending submission, that's where this campaign name lives. So we'll select that and we'll make our edits. And then finally, we will select spring for our season. And then also in this case, as soon as we hit submit, it triggers the Outbound integration to deliver the new campaign name back to Meta. And so if we go back to Meta, refresh our screen, we'll notice that campaign name has changed. So now it follows the correct format, and it also has the season as an extra parameter in the naming convention. What are the next steps for you if you have found this quick vine interesting and are interested in using Meta and CM360 with your own data standards cloud account? First, reach out to your Claravine contact to make sure you have access. Then be sure to go to our knowledge base and take a look at the detailed documentation on how you can get these two integrations configured. It's also important to note that we have inbound integrations with other media platforms, including Pinterest, Snap, TikTok, Amazon Ads, and Google Ads. Thanks for tuning in for this edition of Claravine Quick Vines. If you have any follow-up questions, be sure to reach out to your Claravine contact.